Here we go. All right. Well, welcome to our Tuesday. What is it? Tuesday team talk. Our Tuesday team talks. End of the month. We are in March. For those of you guys who are catching the replay, I'm going to make some announcements. If, like I said, if anybody joins late, let's have them put in the comments what they. What was my question? It was. Let's see, why do you want your life to change with this business? And we're going to go over that in just a second. But just some of our announcements really quick for this week. Obviously, tomorrow is the last day of Q1. So I want you guys to really, don't think that, well, tomorrow's the last day of the month and we're getting ready to start a new quarter. So why not just wait until Thursday to start? But one of the very, very coolest things about finishing out this month is that everybody that we've signed really in February and in March, the retention credits carry over into Q2. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll just wait, don't wait to sign people up. Sign them up today and tomorrow, because you're going to immediately get retention credits for them in the Q2. Which we didn't have that when we started this one, right? Like in January, we didn't get retention credits for the people that we signed up the 2 months beforehand. So I want to encourage you guys to really, really, really push really hard to finish this month strong, because number one, today and tomorrow are the last days for $1 enrollments. I can let you know that $1 enrollment is going away. Free shipping is going away. So we want to get people the best deal. We want to be able to have those retention credits, because we got a little sneak peek of, oh, that's rain. I was like, what is that noise? It just started raining. We got a sneak peek of the Q2 prizes, and I'm really excited. And I think they've added more prizes. I think there's actually more prizes than what we had this month. And they've lowered the credits. For each prize level, they've lowered the credits. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 5 or 6 prizes this next round. And this time we have I think 4. Anyways, I'm excited about it. I know Mandy's excited about it. So that's what I want to say about that. There will be a corporate call. I posted it on the team page on Thursday, so on April 1st. That's going to go over how to maximize the success sprint. So if you're feeling like I'm just starting to wrap my brain around Q1, we're starting Q2, you might want to jump on that training call. And then Reset Challenge obviously starts on April 5th. So let's get our people in that. And then we have a coffee talk coming up this Saturday. So that's the announcements for this week. That's our announcements for this week. So I am just going to read through this to you guys, because especially those of you that are catching the replay, you guys can't read these comments. So I'm going to read these, so bear with me real quick. But Mandy wrote, I wanted my life to change with Plexus because I knew I could be promoted and make 6 figures at my job. I was with an incredible company, but I knew I had to trade my time for that paycheck and spend at least 40 hours away from home with that job. And then Karen says, so that I can move to be near my family and also help my college kids out. Heather says, so I can be home with my family and still make a living. She also thinks Mandy should sing. I love it. Andrea says, as a single mommy, I want to be able to provide for the kids, for the kids, and so much more. I love it. Luann says, I get an enormous amount of pleasure helping people succeed with their products or business, and I like the extra cash. No shame in that. None at all. I think everybody truly would love some extra cash. And then let's see. Jessica says, I want my kids to be able to go to whatever college they want without having to worry about massive student loans. I want to have my husband home with us instead of on the road so often and relieve the financial pressure that is on him. I love it. Brianne says, now more than ever, I want that extra income. I would love to stay home with my kids. And Mandy also just wrote, and now I want to retire my husband. So I love this. I love writing it down. Writing it down obviously makes it more real. And I think that we need to do that more often and share it with others. And then also like ask our teams as well, just because it's just really good to have that reminder. And I just wanted to say before we really get started that you guys possibly are thinking when you see somebody that has reached the top of the company or has reached dual status, you might think like, oh well, that's easy for them, right? Like you'd be like, well, of course they achieve that because XYZ, right? Like you fill in the blank. Um, and I say that because I used to say that when I was getting started. I used to look at other people and say, oh, well, look at what her background was and look at her influence and look at this and look at that. How could I ever how could I ever achieve that? Like, I'm not like her, and really, obviously, we talk about comparison all the time. But what I want to tell you guys is you absolutely can achieve these things. The things that you really, really want, you can achieve that. Um, and I know that because I sat in your seat wondering the same exact thing. I sat there like banging my head up against the wall or up against the desk saying like, how am I ever going to figure this out? Like, how am I ever going to be successful? Like, how do I get better? How do I grow? How do I do this? And I finally just decided like, I'm going to figure it out. Like, I'm going to figure it out. Um, and I'm looking at my notes and I really did. I think like it didn't matter how long it was going to take, right? I was like, you know what? These are goals that I have. They're valid. They're important. They mean something to me and I am capable. And I watched diamond documentaries because I no longer was like, well, of course she can do it because XYZ. And I watched the diamond documentaries and I was like, if she can do it, why not me? Right? Like, why not me? Um, and really, I mean, you guys have probably heard it and you guys have probably sat through trainings and it's so, sometimes it's so encouraging and so motivating. And like, you just want to soak everything in and it feels like you're doing the things. But if you aren't actually like honest with yourself and real with yourself and ask yourself, am I actually taking action from the things that I'm learning? Right? Like, if you don't take that action, nothing's going to happen. And then we also talk about mindset, and that's what we're going to cover. Mandy's going to cover a lot of mindset tonight. But more so than just mindset, but like, are your thoughts serving your purpose? Right? Like the things that you're thinking, do they serve your purpose? Do they serve the goals that you just wrote down and shared with us? Right? So, when you have the right thoughts, you take the right actions. And then when you're taking the right actions that are serving your purpose, you're going to eventually get the results that you want. It may not happen in the right time frame, right? You may be thinking, I am doing all the right things and nothing's happening yet. Like, I promise you, it is happening. Like, I promise you, like, because I've been doing this for 7 years, and even though I am a diamond ambassador, like, I have not, like, I still have so much further to grow and so much more to do. And I still battle those thoughts, right? And I have to stop myself and go, is my thought actually serving my purpose? So if you choose the thoughts that aren't going to serve you, like thinking, oh, this is never going to happen. Oh, I'm never going to sign anybody, right? Because even when you've signed people, right? Like, everybody here has signed people. Even when you've signed people and then you go through those spurts where you're not signing people, sometimes you can have that thought, oh, I'm just never going to sign anybody. Or you talk to somebody and maybe they ignore you and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm bugging them. And when you start thinking those thoughts, your actions are going to be reflected in those thoughts. If you think you're bugging somebody, you're probably going to avoid talking to them because now you're thinking everything I say is going to bug them. Maybe they're going to think that I'm being nice to them just so I can sell them plexus. So maybe I shouldn't, like, you can't let your thoughts determine your actions, right? What are your thoughts? And how are they serving your purpose? And then I would also say this too, is that if you are in that space right now to where your thoughts are not serving your purpose, I just want to challenge you to like ask yourself, like, why am I surprised then that I'm not getting the results that I want? Right? Like we have to be honest with ourselves. And I think actually I was talking to Jason this weekend and we were talking just about leadership. We were talking about the Enneagram and the way that like we like as your Enneagram number makes decisions, how that affects other people and all of this stuff. And what it really came down to was also self-awareness. Like that is a special, like I think growth period, like when you become self-aware, like then you can actually start making changes. But if you aren't even aware of the fact that maybe your thoughts are not serving your purpose, then you're not going to be able to grow past that. So just being mindful of all of that kind of stuff. Um, and then, like I said, taking the action to get the results. So it really boils all down to mindset. And I wanted to just like launch this meeting with that because I think it's so important that um, number one, that we always revisit our why. Like, why are we doing this? And then just being mindful, like, are the thoughts that I'm thinking actually serving my purpose? Because when you take action and your thoughts match your purpose and your actions and all that stuff, I promise you, you will see results. Totally 100%, you will see results. And it might not be on the time frame that you think it should be, but that's when you start getting to like reevaluate and doing all of the things and all of that kind of stuff. So just wanted to share that with you guys. I absolutely love, love, love these goals and these dreams. And I don't want you guys to ever forget them and even take time to really dig in even more because that's what keeps you going. That's what fuels your passion even further into helping people because it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. So I'm going to stop talking now. And I'm going to let Mandy cover some mindset stuff. And then we'll really get into some other stuff where you guys can take even more notes. So Mandy, you got it.
Alrighty. I just love everything you said, and it actually feeds in perfectly to what I was going to say. And I have some really real life examples for you in terms of everything that we're talking about. But when Rachel was saying, maybe you're seeing people rank up and re-rank and go silver, and they're adding this ambassador and adding 10 ambassadors. And no matter where you're at in your business, there is going to be opportunities to compare. There was a girl that went diamond yesterday. We were talking about this in our Jules chat. She added over 500 level ones in year one. I think she went diamond in just over a year. And we were like, what? And it would be so easy to look at that and be like, well, why not me? Like, why not me? But we don't know, like, we never know the backstory. Like, she had been building, just like a lot of our influencers that go to the top very quickly, they were building an Instagram audience and market for years, full time, right? And then Plexus came along, and then, now they have all these people wanting to join to buy the products. But even at that level, you're not seeing the retention. You're not seeing the lack of leadership. You're not seeing all the other struggles that she didn't get to learn. Like, we're getting to learn because our growth is slower. We're getting to grow and build that foundation and that platform. So when things start moving really fast for us, and we never know when that's going to change, we're ready. Like, we're ready, and we can support that. Just like last summer when, like, all of a sudden my team tripled. Like, I was almost a sapphire and I started out barely hanging on to senior ruby in just a few months. If Rachel had not, if we had not been preparing mentally and putting our systems in place and building that foundation, it would have been a freaking disaster. because we would have been losing people left and right, and we would have had no idea how to support people and all of that. So I just want to say there's always going to be this comparison, but temptation, but just try to like capture that thought and throw it away, because you need to focus on your goals and your business and your growth and what you need to be doing to get better, and realize like any moment something can just change just like that for you. And I have a really good story that I can't wait to read, but I'm going to read it last because I'll probably cry. There might be two things I'm talking about tonight. I'm keeping my eye on the clock, but the one thing that I really wanted to talk about was when we tell ourselves, and this feeds into exactly what Rachel was saying, that we're stuck, that we're not growing, that we're not going to hit this goal. I hear statements like, I'm losing everybody. Everybody's detoxing. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm losing my whole team. My team is falling apart. I can't seem to get anyone. I can't seem to make them say yes. And it's like, are you guys listening to what you're saying to yourself? Like, you just told me you're losing your entire team. Everything's falling apart. Everyone's detoxing, and you've got 7 people ordering from you still. Like, we are always telling ourselves these lies, and our brain is listening. And just like Rachel said, your action or your thoughts feed into your action. So if you really feel that way, if you're really telling yourself that, then you're not going to like rise up and be in a posture of confidence and excitement and joy and feel like I am solving people's problems. Like, yep, 2 people are detoxing. That stinks. But you know what? I literally have millions of people in the US and Canada and Mexico and Australia that I can talk to that have never, ever heard of Plexus. My potential is limitless, and I'm not going to stop until I've talked to everybody that I can possibly talk to. You are truly never stuck. You're not. You might tell yourself that you are, and because you're telling yourself you are, you're believing it and you're slowing down. And a lot of people will use that as a reason to justify their lack of activity. But guess what? The cure, the solution to stuck is activity. Like Rachel was saying, it will change everything for you. Everything is figure outable. You can learn grit and resilience and perseverance and confidence and you can learn all of those skills. You can learn social media. You can learn those algorithms. I was talking to Andrew about algorithms today. You can learn how to be more compelling. You don't need an audience of 10,000 people to grow a really large team. All of my Facebook accounts combined are less than 5,000 followers. You don't need that. If you have it, great, but you don't need that. And you can do hard things, and you can go live on Facebook, and you can host those events. There's so many things that you can do. Like, you're truly never stuck unless you stop learning, unless you give in, unless you cave, right? And you quit. That's when you're stuck. But if you stay moving, a body in motion stays in motion. It will come to fruition. Those seeds will come time to harvest. And your team, any ambassador under you is considered your team, whether or not they want to work the business. They're seeing what you're doing or not doing. Like, you're showing them the way. So if you're saying you're stuck and you're like a rock, kind of just gathering moss, your team's very likely going to do the same thing. And so I actually, like, I know it sounds like I'm like, hey, but I feel like that is tremendously encouraging, because it means I have the ability to impact and influence my business. There are any number of steps I can take on any given day to completely change the trajectory of where things are going. And if I believe that in 90 days, my efforts today are going to pay off, then you better like bet your tuchus I'm not going to waste today, because in 90 days, I want that harvest. And maybe it's 6 months, and maybe it's 6 years, but I have never, ever not had a payoff for consistent activity. Maybe it's lumpy. Maybe there's months all of a sudden I'm like enrolling double-digit people, and then I'll go like 2 months without signing anybody. Maybe it's lumpy. Success is lumpy. Everything is lumpy. There's no straight shot, but you can consistently work your business. So I'm gonna take a drink real quick, and then I don't know if you saw this today, but there's a girl named Rachel Clausen. Rachel posted this on the team page, and she hit emerald in 5 years ago. 5 years ago, she hit Emerald and she lost almost her entire business. Almost her entire business was gone. And this is what her best friend in Upline wrote. And I'm just going to read it because I couldn't make this better. It's beautiful. So, friends, Rachel not only lost Emerald, she fell and she failed hard, as in all the way down to 223 points. Now, Emerald is 1,500 points, right? $10,000 paycheck-ish, down to 223 points. Yep, you read that right. A senior gold ambassador, which is, guys, senior gold is incredible, but I'm trying to illustrate like her experience of the fall. How did this happen, you ask? It's called the perfect storm, a storm that swept in and wiped out a lot in just a year. A storm where your main Ruby leader is recruited to another company and you lose most of her team. Then another leader dies of brain cancer and her team is too brokenhearted to carry on without her. Holy smokes, sorry. And don't forget, the third leader that made it to senior gold, then up and quit due to mindset issues. And if you get to this level, you're going to lose people to mindset issues. I've lost more golds and senior golds than I have currently. Take all of that, put it together, and you have a devastating scenario. One that left Rachel there for almost 4 years trying to rebuild. Rachel did all she could do to salvage what was left of her team. She worked tirelessly trying to reconnect with people, trying to get some back, trying to recruit new potentials to run the business. But despite her efforts, she found her team dwindling with uncommitted people. I will attest to the deep low this girl felt. Yet, are you ready for it? She never left our company. She never took a break. She never gave up on her goals. Whew. And she never walked away from her team. Did she look around and wonder if she would ever make it back up? Of course she did. Of course she did. I won't read this whole thing, but you need to not walk away thinking you'll find something better. No matter what rough waters come, deep down, you have what it takes to pick up, carry on, and achieve it all over again. And this is like such a moving story. She told me this story a few months ago, and I was like, she's like, I'm fighting. I finally hit senior Ruby. Like, I'm fighting, I'm making a comeback. And I think it was yesterday or the day before, she's like, I need 48 orders, something like that. And today she was Emerald. And so you just never know, like, how many times have you wanted to quit? Like, I have. It wasn't going as fast as I wanted it to. I wasn't where I thought I should be. You know, so-and-so was mean to me. I lost my leaders. It can be really difficult. But if you stay rock steady and you stay the course, things will change. And this is just one example on our team. She's on our team that hit Emerald today, or maybe it was last night. I don't remember. 5 years. And she did it. So that's all I'm going to say. I'll save the rest for another time. I know Rachel has some really great content that she wants to walk us through. So just remember that story. It's on Dream Big if you need a little refresher.
I love it. Thank you for sharing all of that. I think that, gosh, if we just did mindset training all the time, that would be awesome too. But one thing I wanted to add, I actually had it, I didn't have it in my notes and I wanted to think about it. And Mandy, you said something and it made me think about it. But when we're talking about like mindset and how, you know, we're saying like, you can learn, right? You can learn to do this. You can learn how to get better. You can go through the trainings. But one thing about taking action and all of that, actually, Luann, you heard my training in Tennessee. But we had come across this article that I don't even remember anymore, but there was a university that did a study. And basically what they found is when you stop stepping out of your comfort zone, when you stop taking risks, and when you stop being uncomfortable, your brain literally cannot learn anything new. Like it does not have the capacity to learn anything new. So if you think like, oh, I'm going to learn all of this stuff and I'm going to apply it, like if it's not causing you to be uncomfortable, right? Like to do the scary things. Like if you're like, oh, it's easy to talk to people. Well, okay, maybe you're not talking to the right people, right? Like you need to find the things that are scary You need to find the things that make you step outside of your comfort zone, because that's where the true growth and where the learning actually starts. And I just thought that that was absolutely fascinating. So keep that in mind because it's scientific and I like science. I got my degree in biology. So another fun fact for you guys. You guys get to find all kinds of fun things about me when I have your attention. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is really a lot of virtual office stuff. And for some of you, you may be like, I know it. Some of you may be like, oh my gosh, I would absolutely love to share my screen with you guys to really show you this. But at the same time, because we're recording, obviously there's a lot of personal information in our virtual offices, and I don't want to share that without anybody's permission. So I'm not going to share my screen. What I will say, I'm sure that your Jewel upline, and myself included, if you can't get with somebody, I would, if you need one-on-one, like 30 minutes to like go over this stuff where you can actually like see it, like please ask. Like just, I get so many times people will be like, oh, but Rachel, you're so busy. I didn't want to ask because you're so busy. Like that's what we're here for. Okay. Like nobody's ever going to tell you no, right? We may have to make schedules match up and it may, that may be the hardest part, but we're always available to meet with you guys one-on-one to go over this stuff. Do not ever feel alone, right? There should be no excuse for you guys not to know how to work your virtual office because you didn't ask the question for the help. No. I texted my girls, told them that they needed to feed the dogs. I don't think anybody saw my text message. But anyways, okay, so I'm going to talk you guys through this. So I want you guys to take notes. But one thing that we want to cover is the first thing we're going to do is like how to identify declined credit cards and really who ordered last month that didn't order this month, who is close to ranking, re-ranking, that kind of stuff. You can really find all of this stuff all on the same page. Okay. So when you guys go to your virtual office, and I'm going to actually walk through this so that I'm telling you guys the correct information. Okay. So when you guys log into your virtual office, you know how you have your dashboard, you have the 4 boxes, my subscription, current PV, points and rank, and then new ambassadors. There's those 4 different sections. Okay. You're going to click on points and rank. This is going to pull up every single ambassador that you have on your team. Okay. You're going to scroll down. It shows you your current points. It shows you your rank. And then you have these really nifty bar graphs that show you where you're at last month, all that kind of stuff. So you can, if you like bar graphs, it's a great visual. And then you go down below and it says sort and report. Okay. So then you scroll down to where you find all of the names of your people. Yay, there's your team. Okay. You can search. There's a little magnifying glass. If you know that you want to find like one person and you don't want to scroll through everybody, you can type in their name. Sometimes you have to, anyways, find people's names right there. Then you have status, level, paid level, achieve rank, all these different little categories. And you want to go to where it says order status. Okay. You always want to click it 2 times because that will pull up the most recent information first. So anytime that you're clicking on any of those tabs, it's going to click it twice to pull up the most recent information. So from there, from your order status, you'll see everybody that has an order. It has the little blue link that goes to their order. It'll say either accepted, it'll say fulfilling, it'll say shipped. Those are the 3. You might sometimes see pending, but anyways, we're looking for the ones that say declined credit card. That's what we're looking for. And it's more than just finding out like, okay, that person has a declined credit card. Like you want to click on it to find out what it was and find out what, and you can even see if it was attached to a subscription or not, because the next column over is their subscription. When you click on it, like the very first one that I come up on, when I click on it, it was actually their annual membership. Okay. So for somebody that's in this situation, this is really, really good information to know. Because when somebody's credit card declined for their membership, for me, that tells me, I wonder when the last time they ordered was. Because they could potentially be somebody who could be cleared from the system and eligible to rejoin. Okay. I think that's really, really important to know. So, if you wanted to find out, like, well, when was the last time that they ordered? You're just going to scroll back over to the left, and next to their name, there's a little plus sign. You click on that. It it shows you who their sponsor is. If it's you, it'll have your name there. It has their email address. It has their ambassador ID, and then there's even a little link that says View Team. When you do View Team, when you click on that, it'll pull up a whole new window, and it'll show like just them highlighted. And from there, you can find their order history. And even if this was somebody who just had like a regular order that their card declined, I still like to go look at their order history regardless if it's their membership or if it's an actual order. And you can see what it is, and that gives you more information so you can go back and talk to them, and maybe that combo wasn't the combo that they wanted, start a conversation. That's what this is for. Now, if it's somebody whose credit card declined and it was attached to a subscription, remember that column right next to them will tell you if they had a subscription or not. That was another membership one. I'm trying to find one. Then you want to reach out to those people. We want to offer good customer care. I would say most of the time, that somebody has a credit card decline and I reach out to them, they were completely unaware that it happened. And they're like, no, I want my products. Right. And when people are used to having a subscription, they're trusting that it's just going to come. Right. A lot of the time, sometimes it could be just a system hiccup that they're just, or a fraud filter or something that just tripped it. And there's really not an issue with their credit card. Right. Like they'll be like, I had no clue. There shouldn't be any issues with my card. And we just need to get that taken care of so that they can get their products and they don't have a disruption in their subscription or their consistency with that. So that's just offering them really good customer care. The other thing too that I've noticed about our system is that most credit cards are good through their expiration month, right? Like if you have a card that expires in March, you can use that anywhere until March 31st. The Plexus system does not, unfortunately. So again, it's just good customer care because somebody might not be um, even aware. Or another time when I reach out to people about their credit cards, um, it's because they got a new credit card and they forgot to update it in the system. I do that all the time. Anytime that I get a new card with a new number, I'm like, how many places do I have my card listed? I'm like, okay, here, all of these, like, this bill, everything's now I got to go back and you just forget. So, Becky, you do not need to feel awkward letting somebody know that their card declined because like I said, it's most likely it's not. I Very rarely is it because they don't have funds. Very rarely. And I think that might be I'm just assuming that might be the reason why you feel awkward. Um but it's I think it's a courtesy. It's a courtesy to let them know cuz like I said, most of the time uh, here's what I'll tell you. The people that don't want their order anymore probably won't respond to you. Right? But then think of all the people that just don't even know, and it's a courtesy to them. You're offering them that good customer support because they might not know that their credit card either is expiring that month because they may be like, it's yeah, it expires, but it should work through the end of the month, or um it's just a system glitch or something and you just have to get it in. So we're taking care of our people. So This is something that we like to try to like check every few days so you can catch it right away. But that is something that you guys can absolutely do to end the month strong is to go back through your reports and look through it and take care of your people. Like I said, I would say like 9 times out of 10, people are thankful and they were unaware and they're like, no, I want my products. Um, so that's what I would have to say about the credit card declines. Um, as far as looking at like who ordered last month versus who ordered this month, obviously, if we're checking our perks, we're going to be able to catch that when people turn off their I keep hearing noises when people turn off their subscriptions, but it's very possible too that you guys have people that are ordering manually that don't have a subscription, and you can go back and you can check to see um like who sorry, I'm logging back in. Um who ordered last month, who didn't order this month. So, one of the really cool features that we have in our virtual office is in that sort and report, you can change the month. So, like when I'm looking at it, I can change it from March to February and it'll pull up all of the information of what February looked like. Same thing when you click on that little plus sign next to somebody's name, it's going to pull up obviously this month's information. And then there's a little tab that you can change it to last month. But actually, when I click on somebody's name, let me find somebody and I go to view team, it will tell me like what their current PV is, and then right underneath it, it'll say previous month. So I don't have to go very far to see like, did they order last month or not, you know? And if their PV is at 0, but last month they ordered something and it wasn't on subscription because they didn't show up in your perks, that's a good reason to reach out and chat with them and find out, you know, and then you can go to their order history, you can see exactly what they ordered the previous month. Ask them how they liked it. See if there's anything new that they want to try. It's all relational. We should not feel like we're bothering them. It's customer support. Um, I would rather somebody say, Rachel, you talk to me too much, than why did Rachel never ask me about that? Right? Like I would rather somebody say, Rachel, stop talking to me, than anybody saying, I had zero support. And we're not going to know how people are going to respond if we don't reach out to them and if we don't offer that to them. Um, okay, what else? Another thing to do to really close out the month strong is so when you're back in your sort and report, right, where it shows your whole entire team, I love to scroll all the way over to the right where it says team points. So this only works if you have and like if you only have wholesale ambassadors right now and they've never signed up a single person yet, it's not going to matter how you sort it. But if you do have people who've signed people up, click on team points twice, and it's going to put the person on your team who has the most points, and it trickles on down. So you can see, like, if they have 5 points, that means that they have one person. Okay. They just need two more to go silver, right? Are you having those conversations with them, right? Like if you're sitting there wondering, kind of like what I said at the beginning, like, I don't have anybody that wants to work the business with me. Well, like you have to ask yourself, have I ever asked them to? Have I ever asked them to share? And you don't even have to ask people to work the business, but have you asked them to share? Have you showed them what they can say? Have you given them a post? Have you asked them to do it? Have you asked them for referrals? Right? Like there's so many things that we can do to help people, but if we never ask and we think, well, nobody wants to do this with me, or if we say, oh, well, they already told me that they don't want this business, so you never said anything about it, right? Like Mandy told me, I don't want this business. This is not for me. And I was like, well, first of all, you need the products. But I could have stopped right there. When she totally shot me down, oh, hi, Jen. When she totally shot, I could have been like, well, it's done. Like she said she's not interested. But I'm like, no, she's she's going to take the products because I know if she takes the products, she's going to fall in love with them. And other people, I mean, I have ambassadors that are wholesale ambassadors for 4 or 5 years. And I still ask them, hey, are you ready to start sharing? I know that you love these products. Can I show you a post that's working? Would you be willing to do this? And if they still say no, hey, I know you love it. Would you send me referrals? You guys just have to talk and you have to ask. And it feels scary. I know it still feels scary for me. It still feels scary for me. So look at who you can help, right? Who is so ready? Who is one person away from silver? Who has signed up 2 people? Um, One thing that I want to challenge you guys to do is as you're joining people, like just flipping your mindset too of, okay, I'm checking time. Changing your mindset from, oh, like, do I bring up the business? Do I ask them to share? Like, I know I need, like, it's scared. Do I, like, just start making it of your part of your process, part of the conversation. And I'm going to read it to you. Like, your new standard is everybody starts with a friend, right? Like, when you sign up one person, you are thinking already, this person's going to sign up with a friend, right? Studies have shown, like, it's fact, that when you have an accountability partner, your success increases by 85%. Why would we not want that for our people, right? We want these products to change their lives. So, number one, they have to take the products consistently, but having that accountability is going to help them stay consistent. And when they stay consistent, they will see results. So, when you're talking to them, just make it part of like your standard. Like, everyone's going to sign up with a friend, right? So, like, you can tell them something that everybody does is when they start Plexus, they start with a friend, right? It's just what everybody does. Like, make that part of your language. It's just what everybody does. Um, and so you want to help them do the same thing, right? Like, you want to help them start with a friend. And then you can give them an example. Say, my friend was whatever, right? My friend was my mom. It wasn't my mom. She wasn't my first ambassador. Um, but maybe it was your mom. Maybe it was your sister. Maybe it was your best friend. Maybe it was your neighbor, right? Whoever your first person that you started with was, tell them and say, I want to help you do that too. And then we could dig way further into that, but I think you guys have to get the mindset first. Like, I can't just be like, go do this if you guys don't really believe in it. If you guys don't fully believe it and you guys aren't willing to make that your new standard, it doesn't matter the verbiage that I give you, right? That doesn't matter. So just start making it, and you're not going to say the wrong thing to the right person. And I think sometimes we are waiting for that training. We are waiting for that verbiage. Oh, if somebody could just tell me what to say. Like, I had no clue what I was doing when I started Plexus, like, none. And if I had waited for all of the trainings and for all of the right words, like, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, because I wouldn't, I still don't have it all figured out. I'm still investing in training, investing my money in trainings to get better because I don't have it all figured out. Right. So you guys it's just, you just keep doing the things, right? And you know what? Could the people that I signed up 7 years ago, could I have led them better if they joined me now? Yeah. But they were part of my journey that back then. They were part of my success back then. The people that helped me go silver, only one of them is still with me. I have one person of my first 3 that is still with me 7 years later. It'd be crazy if I even looked at the people that helped me get gold. You know what I mean? So, anyways, okay, I'm rambling. Look at your team and see who you can help, right? Start with +1. And you're going to get the people that want to go silver immediately, right? You're going to get those people. You're going to have those conversations. But just start your standard with just adding the +1. I got to see if there's anything else. Mandy, I know that you had some verbiage for closing strong. Did you want to share that right now?
I'll just touch on it
Okay.
real quick so that we have a little bit of time just for whatever. So what Rachel was saying, I really love, and I think the easiest way to do that is just make it normal. Don't talk to people about silver, and don't say fast start and upline and sponsor and want to work the business. You're like, grab a friend. You'll make $35. Oh my gosh, you did it. If you grab 2 more friends, you're going to make like a few $100s, or hey, you got this Engage app. It's free. Plexus is going to email you now that you've joined, and you get samples. Like, what 3 people can we send samples to? Like, I'm not going to let you waste these. You're excited, you're enthusiastic, and in no point in time am I saying, I want to get you to silver. That means no, we're not. We're friends. So just take all that pressure off yourself to like present this business strategy and talk about, and just be like a normal person. Like, let's go get lunch together. Let's go grab a friend, So that's something Rachel and I are learning more about in the training that we invested in. And we definitely need to be talking about that a lot more, because it really is serving the people that have made that investment. Okay, I knew that we were not going to have enough time to go through all the verbiage. So what I did was I put a post on Dream Big, and it's teal or mint green or some sort of green. It just says end of the month and closing messages. And I just made this list. It's not pretty, it's not formatted, and we can add to it. But I think a lot of times people are like, oh, they're just not getting off the fence. They're just not ordering. Sometimes they're not going to. Okay. Like Rachel and I talk at the end of every month. Oh my gosh, I had like 4 people that didn't sign, and they said they were going to, and now they're ghost. That is normal. Okay. That is not necessarily a reflection on you. And it certainly isn't a personal reflection of how they feel about you. They got busy, disinterested, were too embarrassed to tell you they didn't have money, had more questions. It's any number of things. But there is language that we can use, and language is a skill, and I have studied it. I have legit books on called Exactly What to Say. Like, I have studied it because I sucked at it. So it's a skill, and we all borrow from each other, and I compile lists of things on my phone. Okay. So this stuff I didn't actually come up with on my own, but you have to be a good question asker. Don't just like dump a lot of people or information on people and expect them to consume it and like come to the conclusion that they're, no, you have to ask questions that solicit a response. And again, you still might get ignored, and that is normal. But all of these questions, all of these paragraphs almost are like, hey, I'm wondering if, you're worried about it being too complicated. Or some people will say, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, where are you at this? Like, how ready are you? Or what questions do you have for me before we get your order placed? Or I know last month wasn't a great time. You have so much going on, and there's literally like 1 day left of these incentives this month. I would love to get you these products at a discount. Is now a better time? End with a question so that people have something to respond to. Use those 3-way chats as much as possible. And you're not going to mention 3-way chats, upline sponsor, any of that stuff when you're talking to people, because that will freak them out. That's crazy. They're going to be like, you're just having group chats, and your sponsors are typically going to be really skilled and experienced at guiding this conversation. And you're going to see them get ghosted and shut down and all this stuff. That is normal. But it's no big deal, right? Because we're not taking it personally at this stage. When you've had a ton of experience, it's just not personal. And then there's one piece of, at the end of this list, there's a paragraph for, Melissa wrote this, I think she at least shared it with us, that you can use to talk to your existing ambassadors, people that have ordered Plexus from you before, to get them into this reset, or to get them up to 100 PV, or maybe they haven't ordered in 3 months. It's a way to start the conversation. So look for that post. If you have really great messages that have been eliciting responses and getting people to make that decision, and you guys, if their decision is no, that's still a successful conversation, because they made a decision, right? You know where they stand for this period of time and you can move on. So if you have something that's working or that you're using, feel free to like populate this chat, because we love having this library of, you know, messages that we can use so we don't have to completely reinvent the wheel each time. All right, Rachel, that's all I'm going to say on that.
All right, awesome. Okay, so guys, we have like 5 minutes left. And we will always at the end of these, you know, we'll say that there's going to be Q&A, but if our training takes us, we'll just, you know, you guys can always just message us, but probably have time for maybe one question. If anybody has like some burning question that you want to ask real quick to either me or Mandy, or if you guys are like good and you're like, we're going to go conquer the world and reach all of our goals, we can also end like that too. Anyone want to unmute themselves? Yes, Luann.
Yeah. Okay. So when we're adding people these last couple days to get into the reset challenge, it won't let you order it this month. It automatically goes 2 days out, like to April 2. I'm not talking about new ambassadors. I'm talking about people who are current ambassadors. If they go to place an order, it won't let it ship today or tomorrow. It will ship out the 1st or 2nd of April. So can they still qualify for the reset?
Are you talking about like from a subscription standpoint? Like if they want to place
Yeah.
an order through their subscription for perks and all of that kind of stuff? So they could set their subscription up actually for April 1st. And
Okay.
they can enter the challenge. So if they want to
Okay.
their subscription.
Okay. I thought it just had to be that orders had to be placed this month in order for them to be in the April 5 challenge, but you're saying that's not the case.
We are just going to make sure that they have an order. Obviously, we want
Okay.
the sooner they order, the sooner they're going to get their product, so that when we start
Okay.
on the 5th, right,
Okay.
they have their products. But
Okay.
the last 2 challenges, I mean, we were signing people up halfway through the challenge because they wanted to
Oh.
be in the group and stuff. And so we were, I mean, the chances of them winning, but they knew that. Like they knew I've been without products for 2 weeks and everybody else had a 2-week start, but they still wanted to get in there.
Okay.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mandy, I think somebody could go in today. Like if I logged into my virtual office today and I created a new you could create a new subscription today. It could ship out today, but it doesn't count as a subscription. So don't dismiss what I just said. From a standpoint of like if they wanted the products ordered today, they could do that and it would automatically set up a subscription, but it wouldn't actually give them perks, if that makes sense. So sorry if I just confused anybody. But yeah, if they want to set their subscription for April 1st, for that purpose, and they're an existing ambassador, yes. But I mean, obviously we want people ordering as soon as possible to get into the challenge. But yeah, I mean, if somebody came to me on April 5th and was like, hey, can I still get in your challenge? I'd be like, heck yeah, you still can get in my challenge. So, but okay, that's kind of it. I don't think we'd be able to answer anything else. If you guys have any questions, I'll be up for just a little bit. May not get back to any questions if you sent me a private message tonight. But at least maybe if you had a thought, get it in there, and we'll take care of you guys. But really appreciate you all. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tomorrow is going to be a big day because like I said, it's the last day for $1 enrollments, last day to get people enrolled so that you can get credits for them this month and then get retention credits for them next month to start off the new. I would much rather start off the new quarter with 20 credits for one person, right? For the retention portion of it than just 10 credits for them because I wanted them, to wait or whatever. So definitely do that. Don't forget, I guess the other thing too, Remember, for every 2 ambassadors that you sign this month, you're getting an extra $50. And I also forgot to mention at our announcements, if you sign 2 ambassadors from the 28th, so 2 days ago, if you signed anybody between the 28th and the 31st, you signed 2, you get an entry into our contest. We're going to be giving away $100 and $50. We're going to have 2 winners. So don't forget about getting entries for that. And I think that's it. I love seeing you guys, and until next time. So talk to you guys later. Good night.